Hello guys! A few years ago I wrote a few articles at Reddit that explains in little details how SnowRunner tires works. However, these days I still hear some misconceptions from some guys that often swirl around SnowRunner's community. So I decided to make a simple proof of concept video to those articles. I'm a computer programmer, but I don't work for Saber, but I can much more easily detect algorithms in other programmers' software. Also, I would like to cover Jack of all trades DLC and will tell you what's actually wrong with it. Let's do some testing here, shall we? The best easily accessible location to test mod's performance is in Alaska at White Volume Up. The spot is to the left at the garage exit, so it is really fast to do some changes and to do retest once again there. Plus, it's short, so you don't have to wait a lot to get some numbers there. It's sort of a medium mod case. It is deep, but not too deep. Best trucks handle this segment in around 10 seconds, good trucks in around 20 seconds, 30 seconds and more considered to be a bad performance in mod, and everything above 50 seconds is basically a failure. We will use TUZ Active-On with some suspension modifications, as we want to exclude ground clearance as a factor that impacts performance. So we change active suspension default position to high suspension settings and active settings to some extreme values. We just don't really want to have any impact of vehicle collision model. Okay. Right now we are using stock UOD1 tires and we'll play around with lower gears to extract the best speed possible here. Actually, it is moving really rapidly, however, if we attach a crane to it, it will move even faster, approximately 50% faster. You can test it by yourself. However, here we are going to check something different. Okay, we've got 23 seconds, which is a pretty good result for such a small truck. Now we are going to increase tires width to something like 3 times more wider than before. We set 1.58 value to front and rears. Do you see those tire marks on the snow? They are really wide and do not correspond to the 3D model visual appearance. So it is a good point to always check the tire width in the spreadsheet so you are absolutely sure and you are not relying on the visual appearance in the game. So not too fast, huh? Despite having super wide tires, it is moving slow. We can increase speed by adding even more width to the tire or increase mod rating of the tire, but it still won't be super fast. The truck is kind of floating over snow, which is good to play safely, but not too good if you're an experienced driver who knows the routes and want to rely rather on his skills than mod tires. We've got 31 seconds here, which is not bad, but almost 50% slower to the stock UAD ones. Let's do the opposite and decrease tire width to some extreme value, for example 0.1. Okay, let's go. Do you see that? I can even move on high gear without deflog there. It took something like 10 seconds, which is the best result possible for stock trucks in SnowRunner game. Just look how it drives over these hills. It's even faster than TUZ Tatarin. I don't even need deflog because my tire is piercing the snow to the hard surface beneath. It still needs to push those snow around, so we have some resistance, but it's just much faster than when you floating over the snow. How about even more tough conditions in Amur? We select segment near Urska River garage. It looks like we found real mud that can be cutted, or we haven't. What if we add more weight to the truck? A little better, but still struggling. How about we reduce tire width even more? Now we are talking. There is no mod for such setup. It just goes everywhere. Just look at Wisconsin sector. As long as you have enough ground clearance, you can go everywhere. Tire width has the highest impact on track performance. Only after that we consider tire stats from spreadsheet. Of course it's all a bit exaggerated here, and in real games there is no such a combination that heavy enough and has narrow enough tires to move on 5th gear in deep mud, but you can definitely find something, some combinations that are much faster than floating over on wide mud tires. Okay, the second part. What is wrong with Jack of all trades DLC tires? For example, let's take Hammer on off-road tires. They made off-road tires even wider, like old mud tires. It's not an off-road tire anymore, and it's not muddy enough tire. It's just bad in all scenarios now. What if we reduce tire width to some reasonable value, now without any exaggerations? For example, let's put 0.46. Look, now it is a good off-road tire with decent off-road speed. However, it can stuck in deep mud, which is kinda expected for me. I want to go as fast as possible off-road, sacrificing mud performance, while default new OS1 tires neither giving off-road speed nor mud speed, so it's just bad in overall. What about snow conditions? It is also shines here. Now it is a pleasure to drive over here. And yes, I still can stuck, so it's not an OP tire. New MS tires are better than old ones, since adding more width helps mud performance. Of course, in case you want to play safe or prefer swimming to drive. All other DLC tires also suffer from increased width, just check these numbers. All tires now wider, front and rears. While it is good for rear tires, it is bad for fronts, as when you drive on HD tires and feel how fast they are off-road, it's because they have narrow fronts, but not because of wide rears. So, in a nutshell, these tires are worse to their original counterparts. Only Scout mud tires are an improvement there. To sum up, I would like to have highway tires that have unlimited speed on highways, for instance. I want to have all-terrain tires that are good at highway and can do some off-roading. From off-roading, I would like to see best off-road performance ever. And from mud tires, I'd like to see super mud performance. Mud tires shouldn't stuck anyway, but must be super slow as they are right now, basically. Another issue, we've got different vehicle weights, but for example for different types of off-road tires that only have minor change in statistics and have the same width. It would be super cool to have variation in width rather than variation in stats. For Don 71 I would choose the most narrow tire, for Hammer I would choose the widest one, as it has more weight anyway to push down to the hard surface. For myself, I have personally created a custom tires configuration and right now I have real fun, but it would be great to see that in the original game without hacking it manually. But I think it's already time for SnowRunner too. It's been almost 4 years since the release, so I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for watching and see ya!